Hello everyone, nice to be with you again. My name is Abimbola Akinwumi Okoya on Now That You Are Married. Today we want to look at the topic, sacrifice in marriage. Who pays the higher price? You desire to keep your home. You desire to make your marriage work. There's a price to pay. There are sacrifices to make. If you go back 3-4 generations ago, our fathers or our forefathers had a way they were running their homes, such that the home suffered in no way at all. But these days, because of education, enlightenment, exposure, there's a struggle about who is going to pay the price, who is going to make the sacrifice for the home. Now let's have a look at when your career begin to rub shoulders with the running of the home. When career pursuit is working almost against the running of the home, who should pay the price? May I ask, what is the purpose of career? The few reasons that come to my mind is that number one, is for self-actualization. Everybody is getting educated. I need to be in school too. I need a career. I need to be trained in one aspect or the other. This is what I've always dreamt about. This is about what I've always wanted to do. Number two is for social acceptance. You want to belong. And these are good. You want to belong to the class of those that can eventually become MDs, chairman of one big company or the other, group manager of a multinational company. And then there's also the final reason, which is making money. But my question is, after making all the money, as a married person, what do you plan to do with it? Yes, I know you will say that, so that you can leave a legacy for your children. Did I hear you say that? You want to leave legacy. You want to leave something that you probably didn't get from your parents. You want to be able to leave it for your own children. But sir, ma, if those children are not given the attention they need from inception, you will find out that the legacy will become a thorn even in your own flesh. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against anybody pursuing your career. By God's grace, I'm a trained accountant. And do you believe that for 18 years of my life, I worked with the state government? Not because I didn't get other offers. In fact, before I went to our institution, I was working in a bank and they were ready to take me back. But you know, I just looked at it. Who is going to be at home to take care of the children? This is what many of us don't like hearing. But the truth is, if you don't create time for those children, whatever you leave behind will end up being a trouble, even unto you and to your children. When there's need for one person to keep the home front, who should do it? Who? Is it the husband or the wife? I mentioned our great-grandfathers. In those days, they were the ones going to the farm. Where were the grandmothers staying? At home. I'm not saying that women should not work. I don't believe in a non-working mother. I don't believe any woman should sit at home 24/7 doing nothing. But what I'm saying is, whatever you do, you must have control over your time. It must be something that is flexible. We know people that stay at home and yet they make millions of naira on a weekly basis. We have people that step out for a few hours and they come back fulfilling so much that some others will not fulfill in a whole month. What kind of job are you doing? Do you really have time for these children? Are you leaving the care of your children to nannies and house helps? Tell me, if the parents of the house help could train the child, would the child have ended up being a house help? And then you want to entrust the running of the lives of your children to somebody, in quotes, that's almost a failure. No. My point is, when it's time for you to draw the line, please don't be selfish. Our own parents were not selfish. You had many mothers, grandmothers, there were teachers, great-grandmothers, there were nurses. Do you know why? Because those were the professions that had flexible timing. You can tell when a teacher would get home. There'll be time for you to come back and take care of your children. All the running around, all the rat race we have in this end time points to one thing. The children are being lost. They are being lost to peer group. They are being lost to abuse in the environments. They are being lost to house helps and nannies that did not train their own children. And then you expect them to invest so much in your own children. That's not impossible. You can't give what you don't have. They're only working for you because you're paying them. And when you're out of the house, you never can tell what goes on. You know, it has gotten so good now that people they put in cameras in their homes to see what goes on when they're not around. Oh. What about if the children are taken to the backyard? Would you be able to see it? Or are you going to put cameras all over your streets and the whole of your estate? The answer is no. You must be ready to sacrifice. Your great-grandparents did. Your grandparents did. In fact, your mother did. She paid a price to raise you. She paid a price to ensure you had a good life, a good childhood. Don't rob your children of that. They deserve a good childhood. If you don't have your inputs in their lives, you will become total strangers. Both parents will become strangers to their children. I want to encourage you. Think of what you can do that is flexible. Before all you plan your family, as soon as you begin to raise your children, you must be ready to stay and train them. If you were not trained, you wouldn't have turned out so well. It is time for you to invest your time in your children. Think of what you can do that will take you out for lesser hours. It could be when they're in school, you're out too. But by the time they are back, latest 1-2 hours after they return, you are back. Anything short of that, I don't think is good enough for your children. Think about it. Is your job conflicting with the running of your home? Is your husband complaining that you don't have time to see? Many women have lost their husbands to house helps. Yes, because it's the housewife that's always there. She's the one laying your bed. She's the one giving him food. Of course, after laying the bed, anything can happen. I'm not saying it is good, but I'm saying you gave room for it. You allowed it. And we have seen even women, full-time housewives, in court, sleeping with their drivers and their security men. Why? Because the husband was never there. He was out chasing money. When you make the money, is it not for this your family? Then create time. Your family needs you, not your money. Your children, they need you, not your gift. They need you, not holiday. When they're going on holiday, they want you to be there. They want you by their side. They want to show up, this is my dad. This is my mom. Who is ready to pay the price? When it's time for you to pay your own price, don't shy away from it. That is what life is all about. That is what marriage is all about. That is what raising children is all about. That is what growing up is all about. There is a limit to when you can form traits in your children. You can only bend a fish when it's still soft. When it's stiffened, attempt to bend it will break it. So there's a time frame for you to invest the right culture, the right traits, the right norms into your children. Don't miss that time. Oh, fine, you cannot be an engineer by training and then you just sit at home. Okay, begin to do anything you want to do online. Teach engineering online. Come on, get people that need what you have. Write it out in a book. Begin to sell it out. There are diverse things you can do with your training, with your career, without having to leave your children at the mercy of strangers. Think about it. I want to encourage you, when it's time for you to pay the price, don't shy away from it. It is not compulsory that it has to be the woman, but majorly, the woman does the payments. The woman pays more. A wise woman builds her home. A foolish woman breaks it down. What are you doing? Are you building your home or are you breaking it? Are you competing with your husband? Yeah, I know, women, equality, gender, whatever name. The husband remains the head. You can't take that away from him. And if he's the head, and there's no agreement as to who stays. Of course, I have families that the husband has business of his own, he has flexible timing, he picks his children from school, he drops them off in the morning, he drops them at home, he goes back to his office. How many men have that? If your husband has a full-time career, and you have a full-time career, think about it. The children will pay for it, either directly or indirectly. It's not about how much food they eat. It's not about the wealth you display on them. It's not about the gifts you shower on them. It's about you being there. It's about you being there when they're doing their assignments. It's about you being there when your child comes home and wants to share something that happened in class that he or she may not be able to share with your nanny. It's about being there when the child needs counsel. It's about being there as a parent to that child. Think about it. For a marriage to be successful in this area, there's a price to pay. If it's you, what price will you pay? What price do you think is too big to pay to have a good home? What price do you think is too big for you to pay for your children to love you and to sincerely open up to you? What price do you think is too big to pay? My answer to you is nothing. There's no price that is too big. There's no price. I know people talk about it. How many people, what is the percentage of women that are career-oriented, 100% career-oriented? What is the percentage of them that have happy homes? Think about it. Don't let anybody deceive you. The role of a woman, your ministry, your office, your career, your job starts with your home, especially your children. Manage it well. Manage it well. Of late, I've had series of discussion how ourselves are getting better husbands than the children that were actually schooled. You want to know why? Because nobody is impacting the children anymore. The ourselves, they do the cooking, they do the cleaning. What does a man want in a wife? Of course, a woman that knows how to cook, a woman that can tidy up and keep the house clean. All he needs to do is to just send her to an evening school and then she's touched. And then she becomes wife of the Oga. Then what happens to the children? Those that were schooled, those that these house helps actually took care of. Nobody to teach them how to cook. Many of them don't even know how to cook at all. Many of them don't know how to tidy up anything. They can't do anything for themselves. Why? Because all their lives, they had people taking care of them. And who are those that are supposed to be responsible to the training of these children? The parents, the mother especially. So if you don't impact your children, show them how to do things, how to become future parents, then you would have failed in your duty as a parent. The whole idea of going to work, having a career, is all about making money. But don't forget, we have also said that when you have a good home, a good family units will form a good community that will eventually form a good nation. If you don't have good family units, that is, if we fail over the children, then it means the community has failed, then it means the nation has failed. The money we're running after What do we plan to do with the money? And that's what we'll be looking at next. We want to look at finance. The struggle on making money. Everybody wants to bring in money. You're making your money, I'm making my money. You're buying your car, I'm buying my car. You're riding a Jeep, I'm riding my Jeep. At the end of it all, how do we harmonize this? How do we bring the money to the table and ensure that we're using our money to work, even for the goodness of our children? That the money we are earning will not end up pushing them to become drug addicts, will not end up pushing them to become people that will not be proud of in the future. And that brings us to finance in marriage. It's a good thing that I've had you all this while. Thank you for staying this long. I appreciate you. And I want you to send your question. Send your comments. Let me know what you think about what we're saying. You can use any of the media you are seeing on the screen now. Just get across to us. Let's hear your view about it all. Thank you once more. I remain Abimbola Akinwumi Iliokoya on Now That You're Married.